We're getting close to a new version of Minecraft. Hello there, Ray here. And let's take a look at pre-release 1 and then number 2. Before we look at all the changes that came out with today's new version, let me explain how snapshots work when there's two different versions going on at the exact same time. So with the recent 1.20.3 pre-release, this means we're going to get the next full release coming really soon. Now we've seen 1.20 earlier this year, but after that one came out 1.21 and then we got 1.20.2. These were minor updates that are full releases. They're fixing somewhat important bugs that can't quite wait until the next big full release, which is going to be 1.21. So the 1.21 update is just on hold for a little while. So the entire time that they were putting out these 1.21 snapshots, they were also doing a bunch of bug fixes. These bug fixes are going to be in this new 1.20.3 full release version when it comes out. The only thing that's not going to be in this version is the actual new content, such as like the trial chambers, auto crafters, and new tough and copper stuff. But all the other stuff should be in this version here. So we should be able to see the full release of this version before Christmas. So hopefully that all made sense. Now let's see what all was added in 1.20.3 pre-release 1. They added it so breeze can attack you even though they're inside of a boat or a minecart. And since the breeze aren't really big and they aren't considered to be a boss, they can be picked up with these. They also added so breeze can attack you now while you're in the water. You can get these really cool frozen charges just because the momentum is reduced by the water. And then you could sure have a lot of fun playing around with these, shooting them all about. And they can also attack the player while having levitation. They also fixed it so if you don't have breezes added into your game with the latest experimental snapshots, you don't need them to get the Monster Hunted advancement. They made a change that I was hoping for so long, and that is what they actually call this block here, as well as this item here. It's no longer just called grass, but it's now called short grass, which matches really well since the tall version of it is called tall grass. Now there's also the large fern, but the smaller version of it is just called fern. It's not called like small fern or short fern. Now the reason why I really wanted this to change is because this is called grass and this thing is called a grass block. It is really easy to get these two mixed up, such as in when filling in an area with what you want to do is grass blocks, but you'd accidentally see the word grass, use that one instead, and then when you'd fill the whole thing in, this would happen and all your redstone would just end up getting broken. Let me know if this ever happened to you. They also resolved some bugs related to the snapshot, such as TNT being lit, and when it blow up, it wouldn't always drop as many blocks as it was actually breaking off. So now it will drop all the blocks just like before. Using the damage command with the ender crystals as well as TNT minecarts will now actually do damage to nearby entities. Charge creepers now have their render fixed so they don't look strange like before. And the game will no longer do some weird jerking when pausing and unpausing the game. This is due to the game not actually stopping until the player unpauses the game rather than pausing it, which would cause the game to replay the same frames you already seen. So it will be much smoother when slowing down the game while also repeatedly pausing it. Last week we've seen some changes to scoreboards, and this week they fixed 2 bugs related to those. Now in pre-release 1 they came out with some changes to resource packs, but it doesn't have to do with your individual resource packs, but instead the ones that are being applied to the players when joining a server. So you might recall joining a server and getting some resource packs downloaded right away, so that stuff looks and acts differently within the game. This is how a lot of minigame servers work, without you actually having to run any mods. So rather than having a really disturbing screen pop up when downloading these resource packs, now there'll just be a small toaster off to the side. They also added so that the resource packs will be applied at the same time chunks are being loaded. There's also now local storage on your computer of where these resource packs will be put with this new folder called downloads in your Minecraft. And unlike before when after you had 10 resource packs, the game would clear the oldest ones. Now they won't do this so that you can have them all stored here. Plus there's also a log file here, which will store information about the actual downloaded files in case you need it for debugging purposes. Now you can still access your old server resource packs down here where it says server resource packs, so here you can see all the old ones. Also now the download packs will have unique UUIDs, that's essentially what these bunch of jumbled characters are, and these can now be configured in server properties. And this will resolve the problem that if the packs don't have a set hash, they won't have to be constantly downloaded. They also have it now so that clients can now accept multiple server resource packs, and you can even make it so that your server will remove other packs that the player has on when joining your server. Besides that, they also updated the version to version 22 for resource packs and version 26 for data packs. Now let's take a look at what's new with the pre-release 2 version. You won't be able to set blazes on fire anymore if you're not able to hit them with the arrow in the first place. And before hitting the breeze would reflect the arrow, but it would also set it on fire, which wasn't intended. The breeze's wind charge is a projectile, so it should work in breaking pots. but it wasn't, so they recently edited it in. And the wind charges can now also be used to break the flowers off the chorus fruit. Now they said the wind charge is supposed to also break down the dripstone points, but they don't actually work with all projectiles, only the trident. When trying to put items into a decorative pot that already contains a loot table, items that you try to place in will get desynchronized, meaning that it looks like the items are actually vanishing from your hotbar, but if you would update them, you can see they're all still there. It was possible to actually throw items while the game is being paused, so if you do F3 plus escape, this will pause the game, and if you press Q to drop item, nothing occurs right now. As soon as I unpause the game will automatically throw out an item, which was another way that ghost items could be created, so this is resolved. They resolved a recent bug to do with the anvil where you couldn't actually use the backspace, so there's no way to remove the old name, but you could add in a new name. And dying from these new named arrows will now be used in the death message. They fixed it so that ender pearls that land will show up in the subtitles as player teleporters. When updating the world with a grass item, the game was just removing these from the world since they didn't know to change the name to call them short grass now. So now you won't lose all your short grass when updating. They also removed bugs related to formatting, rain texture not looping properly, pop-up overlays blocking other text, commands ignoring max command chain length, and prompts still appearing in command blocks. I'm currently live streaming right now experimenting with all the new changes. Check me out over at my Twitch channel where you can see the behind the scenes of how I design all my crazy contraptions and find all those weird glitches. And much love to my monthly supporters, which you can be a part of by clicking the join button just underneath of the video. Thank you all for leaving a like and I'll see you next one. Bye bye!